You can go from nothing to something in 30 days. I just posted something like maybe a month or two ago, got 3 million views, completely doubled on social media. Churches started to ask like, hey bro, can you do that at our church? And I started on my creative journey. A lot of people are missing money. A lot of people are missing influence. A lot of people are missing impact because they're not taking the time to actually document what's in their mind. Here's the secret.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Justin Berry of the Wealthy Creator Podcast. I appreciate you all for tuning in today. I got a very special guest. I'm so happy this dude got to come in and sit with us. You're going to learn so much about strategy, so much about social media, but you're also going to get some really good life lessons and some things to really help you propel your life as a whole to live that wealthy way. Today, I got my boy, Rohn Starling. How's it going, bro?
What is good? We are up right now.
Yes, sir,
Yo,
man.
I can't believe it. Like, first of all, I feel like we're cut from the same cloth, and somehow we ended up doing the same thing in different ways.
Yeah.
So this conversation, not only I believe is gonna bless other people, but it's blessed me already.
Awesome.
Because
dude.
it's like I feel like I'm seeing what's possible, and I'm seeing what is bigger than myself. I'm seeing someone who actually operates on a level as me, and I don't meet a lot of people like
That's
that.
awesome,
So
man.
we up right now.
Nah, dude, that is a compliment, bro, because you've been doing this longer than I have, and you are one of the individuals that inspired me to really grow and do what I'm doing in this space. I got to kind of come up behind you all, right? Like there's like generations of what it is that we do. And so it's been fun, man, to see your growth and see everything that you're doing. Man, we started this podcast without really starting this podcast. So, you're going to see a quick transition. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Get your pens and papers ready.
Growing up, I actually didn't think I was creative. I felt like every time I looked in the mirror, it was the one thing I would actually repeat over myself. You're not. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, Ron, you are not creative. But right after that or before that, I would just come from a dance battle. I would be drawing in my book, writing something, or even singing.
Doing everything that
there
creatives
was many
do, right?
things, and I was like, these things aren't creative. I don't count as a creative. It didn't make any sense to me, and I just never thought that I could function that way. When I was 16 years old, I remember borrowing a camera from one of my friends. His name is Kevin. I batch filmed like maybe 10 how-tos in front of my house with my BMX bike. One of them blew up. One of them got to 100,000. A couple of them did it was like 30K, 40, whatever, right? So one of them blew up. It got to like 100K. I moved to Vegas at the same exact time, and I met Sean at almost the exact same time.
Wow.
And he was like, bro, tell me about you. So like I tell him whatever, and he looks me up and he's like, bro, you know what you're doing? I was like, no, I don't. I don't know what I'm doing. And I go to this event called Creatives and Coffee, and he looks me in the eye, and he reverses everything.
Wow.
He says, Ron, you are creative. You could actually do this, and this could change your life. And it was in that moment that I was like, that was the first time that I felt like I could actually do what it is that I'm doing now. I just had no idea what it would be unto.
Yeah. It's so powerful when someone believes in you, right? You know what I mean? And you're told by an individual that you got this. You got this. And even as a leader, like you've been mentors to people.
Yeah.
Have you had that moment with some of your mentees?
What's crazy is everyone needs it in a different way.
Yeah.
Some people do just need you can do this. Some people need that consistently. Some people only need it every once in a while. And some people need it in just a different way. I have a guy that I'm mentoring, and I've been mentoring him for probably about 3 years now. And that brother did not know how to change a battery in a camera, bro. I sat him down and I said, hey man, I don't think this is for you. I don't think that content creation is going to be your gift set. Yo, you make fire shoes, bro. Just make shoes. I will ride to the end on these shoes.
Yeah.
But this stuff, I don't know,
It's
man.
not working.
And kind of gave him a little bit of time. And I even prayed about it. And I remember having this conversation with him. And the only thing I really remember saying is, prove me right. Like it was, we're gonna do this and give you another chance. I'm taking a shot on you. Prove me right.
Wow.
This was years ago. My man screenshot the thing, and it's been his phone background for years. And he's like, I think about this every day. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prove you right. Because that means that you believed in me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep going until it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And just, what is it? It was sometime last week. It was in the last 7 days. Someone called me and they're like, hey man, I need someone to do this job. It will completely change their life. It's very similar to what it is that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately,
Just like
oh,
that.
this is for him.
Wow.
And I called him right after. I said, hey bro, hit me. I think there's a life-changing opportunity for you. And I'm so grateful that like, one, I could be in a position to even just say that, but like, and I pray that it works. He had his interview today. So,
Oh, nice.
hey man, I'm praying for you. I love you. I'm proud of you.
We're all praying for you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All of us.
And prove us right, bro, for real.
Yeah.
But everyone needs different levels. And as a leader, I think we have to be cognizant of the type of person that we're mentoring to know when, how, and why we're saying what it is that we say to them so that they can actually get to where we believe that God has for them.
Yeah. So good. So good. And it's the experiences, I think, that help with that,
Mhm.
right? So your experience was with Sean and telling you are a creative.
Yes.
That you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Right? I have the Ryan Pineda, different approach,
Mhm.
same impact. I was behind the camera, had no intention on being in front of a camera,
Yeah.
no intention on speaking on stages, none of that. And he comes in one morning and goes, you're going to speak tomorrow at the workshop.
Not
MVP
tomorrow.
day. Tomorrow. I go, I'm waiting for the punchline, Ron. I'm just waiting for him to like laugh it off. Like he made me nervous. Okay, we can laugh and keep it moving. And he never turned around. Never looked back. And so I go, Ryan, hey man, were you serious about? Yeah, dude. Tomorrow. You're gonna talk about this, you're gonna talk about this, you're gonna talk about this.
Bro, ain't no prep time, big dog.
He's like, it's all the stuff that we do. You know it.
Wow, he's right.
Right? And so that's why I keep the mindset of don't talk about stuff you don't know about. Right?
Yeah.
Because as long as I talk about the things that I know, I'll be okay in any medium, any
That's
platform. But I was just like, man, I went home and obviously you get to making slides and you get to doing everything that you need to prepare for this moment. Because obviously, like if you haven't done it and you've always been behind the camera, you haven't even thought about what this feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could remember thinking back and I was like, well, the last big event, I asked him to do a breakout room just because it was easy, right? Like those are just Q&As.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me do it. This time he's like, get up there and do it in front of people.
Mm.
And it was a sign to me like, oh yeah, he trusts me and believes in me enough to know like I can do this. Because no like leader of the event, the entire business will put somebody in front of 200 people in their office with the expectation that they would fumble it.
Right.
So I knew like he really believed and trusted what I was doing. Granted,
wow.
I was already the producer. I was already, I got the company card. I got everything else as far as trust.
That is a different level.
It's different.
That's a different level.
It's different.
But there are certain people that succeed when you put them in the fire.
Yeah.
You just got to know that that's the type of person they are.
Yeah, this is all part of the leadership. I'm hoping that the individuals that are listening or watching understand that we're giving you information on how to just be a better leader.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it starts with serving, but then it starts with knowing who it is that you're serving.
You only know who you're serving, or you only know what people need if you serve them.
If you serve them.
I'm really bad at this. I'm bad at knowing what I need. The people that know what I need are the people that help me consistently.
Yeah, so
good.
Good.
They're looking at me and they're saying, Ron, you just need someone to remind you that this is happening at this specific time. As long as I can tell you that, you're going to be okay. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like, of course you didn't. That's why you need help. Yeah. Like, I can't see what my blind spots are. That's a different type of self-awareness. But the only way I would ever really be able to know if someone actually told me. And that's why like having good mentors, I think that we all need 5 different types of mentors in our lives.
Okay.
The first one is you need a father, spiritual father, someone who is eons older than you. Mm-hmm. They need to be honestly almost as old as your grandpa.
Yeah.
Like that person is the person that can help restore you. It's like, hey man, I am lost. I messed up. Hey, you know what? It is okay. Because that's weird to say like to your friend that you messed up at a big level.
Yeah.
But to someone that's way older than you, there's safety in that, right? I believe everybody needs a pastor, someone to actually help shepherd them, to help them understand like the principles of God, keep them aligned so that they don't get out of context or borders. You need a mentor, someone that actually is ahead of you, that can give you steps, that can give you processes. And sometimes it might be a little over your head, and that's okay. Yeah. They'll usually tell you things like you're speaking tomorrow. And you're like, bro, I ain't got it in me.
Right.
But who's going to help you with that? A
Yeah.
coach. A coach is someone that's done this before, before, that also will do it with you. Your coach is your cheerleader. They're the person that's in the back like, okay, you need to go and make them slides. You need to get that right. And on top of that, I'm going to be there. Right? And then the last one, so spiritual father, pastor, mentor, coach, and you need a counselor.
Yeah.
The Bible says that you should be getting wisdom. Go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Go pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is worth more than rubies and gold. If that's the case, go pay for therapy because you become better because of it.
Yeah.
If you have those 5 people in your life, positions in your life, and good friends, I don't think you could ever lose. And people that you're mentoring.
And I want to add one more.
Yeah.
You need a significant other.
You know what? I ain't
whether
there
that's
yet,
a
baby.
husband. No,
I'm working on it.
And that's why I want people to understand this about that role in the life. When all else fails, when your mentor lets you down, when your pastor doesn't have the time, like when all those things fail in some way,
Yeah.
right? Because we still are dealing with human beings,
Wow.
right? All born of sin. When all of else fails, that significant other, my wife, your soon-to-be wife, wherever,
Amen.
whoever she is.
We bless God.
Right? That individual knows exactly how to lift you up
Wow.
and prepare you for that moment. Right? I tell everybody, no one can check me like she can check me.
Wow.
It's just the truth. And truthfully, I don't care about any congratulations or any uplifting like I care about it when she does it. Love, 1000% love language, right?
Yeah.
You hug me and tell me you proud of me and what I just accomplished. When it's all said and done at the end of that night, it felt better than anything anybody can say. And you know this, when you get in position to coach, to mentor, to help people, you hear it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're effective and you're really doing what you're called to do. People tell you all the time, that was so good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I really loved your part of this thing. You hear it all the time, and we're grateful for it, and it means so much. But when I walk in my house, and she goes, "You did really good today," and it could be that subtle, right? Because she's gonna keep me humble too, right? Like she ain't gonna,
yeah.
But just that, I mean, it sets you like, okay, now I'm ready to go get it more. Now
Bro,
I'm ready to keep pushing and
You're
ready.
explaining what I'm feeling dating this girl.
Wow.
Like everything is very new to me, and like, I personally, I don't think I've ever felt like this before.
That's amazing.
But there's so many things. I remember I'm doing this thing called Creators and Coffee, right?
Okay.
That's my podcast. That's my endeavor.
Oh, sick.
It's actually a small group that we would do at church.
Awesome.
And I just was like, let's turn this into a podcast. So like we show up, the very first one, 50 people show up to the library because I can't do it at my house.
Right.
And she's like, I've been praying for you. I'm so excited for today. These are the scriptures that just came on my heart. And I went to this class and I would love for you to read it. And you tell me about it. And then like, hopefully it can add to what it is you're talking about today for your group, for the podcast. Bro, it was the same story and scripture that I was going to use to talk about.
Wow.
And I'm like,
yeah, like who
are you stalking me? Like,
Right.
what is going on?
Yeah.
And so I didn't dismiss it, but I was like, hey, thank you. I'm excited. I'm going to read this when I'm taking time out specifically to prepare. Mind you, I was super busy. I was filming like 2 other podcasts that day, super nervous. And I sit down, I finally read it and I call her and I go, what? And she's like, that's one. She's like, that's insane. I can't believe it. But then also is encouraging me. And she's like, pumping me up before I even get to do this.
Wow.
And then the first person that like talks to me right after is her. And she's like, I'm just so proud of you. And my heart just grows for her almost every day. But I feel like that happens a lot. So it's a little scary. I ain't even gonna cap to you.
Yeah.
It's a little scary, but like that affirms something within me to know to say like, this is the type of person I want in my corner. I'm looking for this 6th position and it very well could be this person.
Yeah, there's nothing that elevates you in that manner like the individual that you care most about. And that's just what it is, right? Like she can elevate me from the time, and it could be 3 words. I love you.
Yeah.
And the feeling that I get from that goes, I love you. I love this. And I'm going to work to maintain it. I'm going to work to improve it. and it just keeps it going. You just keep flowing from that. That's a whole nother podcast. Let's keep
It
going.
really is. It really is.
Oh my,
it really is.
yeah, it's so true. It's so true. But the list that you gave is 1,000% what every individual needs in their life to really see success in what they're trying to do.
That's
and
crazy.
to in every area, right? Like you want to be what we call live the wealthy way, right?
Yeah.
Everybody sees wealthy and they assume that we're just talking about money.
It's not true.
It's wealth, and the wealthy way is being wealthy in every aspect of life.
Yes.
Spiritually,
it's a part of wholeness.
physically, financially, like everything that you can put Lee behind.
Yeah.
You got to live wealthy in that space, and it truly is what God's mission and what He wants for us.
Yeah.
Right? And people, I know, like when you talk wealth and you talk finance, our Christian brothers and sisters who are holier than thou and do no wrong tend to kind of shy away from that, or even
they kind of do.
It gets because there has been hurt in that area, and so I understand it completely. Right?
You're talking about money, right?
Yeah, I understand it, right? Because some of us, especially I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I grew up, and some of those churches had building funds for 40 years and never got a new doorknob. So I understand when there's hurt behind the word wealth when it comes.
That's actually, I've never experienced that, so that's mind-boggling.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people out there that understand exactly what I'm saying.
I'm so sorry
about those building funds.
Yeah,
but it's also a situation, and there's the case where He never meant for you to struggle.
No.
And as a Christian, you need to understand that, and you need to be prepared to take on and accept what He has for you. And so that's our goal when we have like wealthy creator is not just being a creator. You got to figure out how to live the wealthy way as you're creating.
It's all a part of a couple of things. So the first thing I want to say is this. Jesus was not broke. Jesus was so wealthy that someone stole from Him and He didn't feel it. And He knew.
So good.
Like, how much money do you, at what point, hear me, do you get an accountant? This brother had an accountant that stole from him the whole time, said to him in his face that he is a snake, and kept it pushing.
Yeah.
How much money do you actually have to not care?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
true.
That's a whole thing. But then it leads me to think about this. We, as people who are living the wealthy way, no matter what it is, need to have integrity. In wealth is probably directly related to how integrous you are, because integrity really means that you're the same person when everyone's looking and no one's looking. It is the physical explanation of, I believe, wholeness. And we're all on this journey of wholeness, and it includes your finances, it includes your mental capacity, it includes your spiritual capacity, your emotional capacity, and so many other things. Anything that ends with Lee, but like, if you are not the same, if you're not letting your yes be yes, your no be no, how can God trust you with more?
Yeah.
And it all kind of correlates. It's like, if I can do well with this, then God trusts me enough to do well with that. But most people don't really make it back here, because when they're in rooms like this, or when they're in situations like we're in situations, they steal the number. Yeah. Where it could be as small as stealing the pen.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as big as cheating on your taxes.
Right.
It could just be as big as, or as small as parking in a handicapped spot, even though that's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I can't trust you with that, how can I trust you with more?
Yeah.
And I believe in God way too much to not. Now, I am sorry that I ain't gonna cap. I do be parking in a handicapped spot.
Amen.
But I just had to call myself out there. But at the same time,
we all fall short, right?
Yeah, we all fall short. It's just so easy. It's right next to my apartment. It's right in front of my door. Oh, gosh. Yeah. But like, it's a principle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm really big on the principles of God, because whether if you are good or not, or whether if you believe God or not, whether if you're like, it doesn't matter. A principle of God has to honor it because He made it.
Yeah.
So like, that's why we see a lot of people who are doing great that are not great people. But at the same time, there's different levels to it, and I want to live the wealthy way.
Yeah, so
good.
Like,
yeah, man, integrity.
Dude. So good. So you were with Think Media as a videographer. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
But that it speaks to your growth, and so I want to move along. you realized that you were creative.
Yep.
And you started to kind of nurture and mature that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
What most people now know you for is the work that you've done for the church.
Yeah.
Just your most recent activity, because I mean, you're tied to some of every.
I'm everywhere. At
Some
this
of
point.
everyone.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of those experiences and some of the things
man.
that you've gone through in that space.
So I'll just start it with right after that moment. So that moment that we talked about earlier was a decade ago.
Wow.
And very shortly after that, I ended up doing kids ministry, which makes no sense. But in kids ministry, I learned graphic design, motion graphics, video, and photo.
Mm-hmm.
What space gives you the freedom to do that and pays you? That's crazy.
Right.
So very shortly after that season, I became a social media manager at our church, and we're making content, and it was doing really well. The churches started to ask, like, "Hey, bro, can you do that at our church?" So I asked my pastor, I said, "Hey, bro, can I just go to the church?" He was like, "Bro, you can't be here on Sunday and then go there on Sunday. It doesn't make sense." I was like, "It's kind of valid." So I had to leave. I had to leave.
Had to go.
And I started on my creative journey. My first ever gig outside of that job was Grow with Video with Sean Cannell. Shout out Sean.
Yes, sir, Sean.
That man changed my life.
My first gig was Grow with Video.
No way.
Virtually.
No way.
Yep.
Doing a panoramic?
Yep.
That is insane.
That's it.
So I did that. 6 months later, this church called Transformation Church hits me up. And I'm like, I can't believe it. Because the last thing I said before I left my job was, the only other church I would ever work at is Transformation Church. So let's fast forward just a little bit. I start working there, and the world shuts down. And we're like, we have to pivot everything. So my job became incredibly important. So I had to 10x all the things that I was doing without mentally hurting myself or being physically drained. Yeah. So I had to actually literally multiply myself by getting more members, more people, more videographers, more editors that lived around the world. We had editors in Germany, in California, Chicago. Like, it was crazy trying to figure out time zones.
Yeah.
And then we just blew up, man. It went from something to something else. Like, God's hand obviously is on it. And there's definitely the grace of God, but then there's also strategy. God is a God of order, but then also it's structure and spirit. That's really what I want to say, structure and spirit. So the structure behind it was everything I learned from Sean, everything about YouTube, everything about social media. And I just was like, wait, let's just syndicate all of this content. Wait, you preach for an hour and 30 minutes every weekend? We could make that into at least 50 different pieces of content. Yeah. So we just kept going. We just gave quotes out, gave it to graphic designers and was like, hey, look, here's the branding package. Here's the quotes. You pick which one you want and we'll pick the best ones. Like, okay, he preached, there's 15 points in this message. Let's make 15 different sermon recap videos. That's already half of what it is that we need. We haven't said church was great or we'll see you next weekend. Right. So I almost coined or penned this system of creating 20 to 30 different pieces of content from one Sunday service. And people started to hear about that. People started to see. Then they started to realize that I was the person making these videos for Pastor Michael. And they were like, hey, bro, can you do this for me? And somehow I ended up working with this guy named Darius Daniels, which is life-changing. A pastor in Florida that I knew, a pastor in Ohio that I knew, a pastor in California, and it just started to grow. And as he grew, people knew I was the guy behind the camera, and it just kind of just worked out. And I found myself in these green rooms, and all I was doing was honoring people and making content, and it just completely turned my life around. Yeah. And it's like there is something about one, obedience, but then also another thing is growing someone else's platform. I believe that right now, even for myself, because dude, I just posted something like maybe a month or two ago, got 3 million views, completely doubled on social media. And I firmly believe that it's not just the system, it's not just the strategy. There's definitely spirit on this. And for the last 3-4 years, the last 4 years, I've helped build someone else's platform. And I feel like for the next 7, God's going to build mine. There's something called, we do this at TC, it's called bamboo season. The first 4 years of bamboo, it grows underground. And for the next 7, it grows by a foot I think a day.
Okay, yep. So
And
good.
I firmly believe that it's my time because I served, I honored, and God honors what you honor.
Yeah. What do you see for yourself, in year 7 of that?
So 7 years from now, I'll be 35.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna sound so crazy because I've never said this in public.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna plant a church.
Wow.
Like, I think 2024 is the last year that I'm gonna be holding a camera for someone else.
Yeah.
And I believe in 2025, it'll look a little bit different. I'll probably be pastoring somewhere. I'll do the exact same things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I'm going to say, everything I'm going to do is all going to be online. I'm going to triple down on everything that God is asking me to do with the podcast, with helping other people, like doing whatever really that God blesses.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by the time I'm 35, it might be the time where it's like, okay, all the people that I've mentored, all the people that I've invested in, we're gonna pick a city and we're gonna turn it up. We're gonna turn it upside down, really.
Yeah.
So, and it's a little scary. I ain't even gonna cap, but we're gonna see.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if anyone can do it, you can do it.
Thank you.
Because, and I don't say that as like a friend. I'm saying that because you have been there at the start of a lot of plants and you've helped so many of them see success on their growth.
Yeah.
And so if no one has an idea or a formula of how they should go about doing it, you do.
We've been cooking and
Yeah.
all I got is recipes.
Yeah.
And it has blessed me. Like, and the recipes might not look like exactly what to do. Sometimes it's relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And there are relationships that I can lean in on and say, hey, this is what's happening. What are just the first 3 steps?
Yeah.
Or you know what's also crazy? I've been planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
All I got to do is wait.
Yeah.
The Bible says that he gives seed to the sower. And all I've been doing is sowing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm going to keep sowing because I understand the principle of God. If I keep sowing, one day I will reap a harvest.
So good.
And that's way okay with me.
Yeah.
I just got to be patient.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt like I've had seasons of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I feel like I'm not in that season, I was like, I'm not stewarding something correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be what I'm learning, I'm not giving that information out enough. I'm not helping, an individual enough. Maybe I may have skipped a few weeks or skipped a week on my tithe. Somewhere in here, I'm not stewarding what I need to be correctly.
Yeah.
And you almost have to do an audit on yourself.
Yes.
Because most people are quick to trying to look around them and see what's not working and why things are happening this way. And they're trying to figure out who is it, what is it around me that's not it. But sometimes that look in the mirror and that real self-audit tells you exactly where you're making your mistake. And it could be something as simple as, rather than me planting my seeds, it's still in the pack on the shelf.
Yes.
They're dead.
Yes.
They're not alive, right? And just figuring out, okay, I need to go figure out how I can either help in this area, do this thing to start to kind of again promote. And I'm not saying that I'm waiting for my reward because I'm doing this. What I'm saying is, if I'm trying to live according to what he has called me to do, it is a requirement.
Yes.
To live this way.
Can I say it this way? It's always pruning season.
Yeah.
So that scripture in John, it talks about pruning, not because it's bad, also because it's good.
Yeah.
So it's either get pruned or do the pruning.
Yeah.
Right? So I always must be in a season of checking, because there's always something to let go. There's always a weight to let go. There's always a thing. Because if I don't, then I get ahead of myself. It's actually a really cool way of staying humble.
Yeah.
But like, another thing is, the Bible says at the end of that verse that you'll bear much fruit after the pruning.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's think of it cyclically, right? The only way that I could keep sowing is if I take the fruit and sow it.
Yeah.
Because seed comes from fruit. And it makes me even think this question, what came first, the
right.
seed or the fruit?
Or the fruit.
But either way, like, there's always something to sow.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if you say so, I'm going to sow. And if I always am pruning, I should always be able to sow.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm always sowing, I'll always get fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this cycle of never ending. I don't even know how that came to my brain or where that even came from.
No, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, Ron, this is a great conversation, dude. Like, and I'm telling you, like, we can do 3-4 hours.
We really could.
Of diving in deeper. But we're talking to entrepreneurs and individuals that are starting their journey
Yes.
in the content creation space, trying to promote their business through social media.
Yep.
Now, it's funny because for someone like you, someone like myself, we're trying to figure out how you all don't get it yet. Right? Like, we're like, come on, guys. Like, all of that old style, like, if you're, handing out the business card, you don't have to do that anymore.
Nope.
Now you can touch phones and get a business card,
That's
right?
Crazy.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. So give some advice to the individual right now that's just starting and having complications, understanding how to generate a strong enough brand presence online.
Great. There's so many things you can do. The first thing I think you should do is to sow into a content creator. It might hurt. I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. If what it is that you're doing is working or has worked, or you actually have wisdom, you need to document it. And the thing is, you're probably not going to be able to document it well yourself. So you have to sow into someone who can, and also change their life. So if you trade your wisdom for their talent, you'll never miss.
So good.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to partner with the right person. That might take time. It might take time to figure out who that partner is it's not easy no one just texts you and go, you don't need to look for another editor. That's not normal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Usually I got to go through interviews. This person actually is trash. They can't deliver on the things that they said. They're not a man of their word. It doesn't actually work. Yeah. So you got to find that person, but then also invest in them. Trade your business, which is value that you have naturally. It's a gift of yours, and trade it for their gift. Like, I'm a better man because of what Mike Todd invested in me, but also Mike Todd's content got to 10x because of the things that I invested in him. So it was a fair trade. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And his plan was not to make me rich. That is not what, like, by all means, that is not what happened. Like, I had to finesse. There was a lot of finessing happening. I got to buy a Tesla, but baby, it was a God dream. That was, you know? So there's that one aspect, but then also, like, if anything, hamper down on that trade. Like, even for myself as someone who is a creator, and I'm meeting young people that don't have what they have is time, and what I don't have is time, but I have creativity, and I can trade creativity for their time. Hey, if you give me your time, I'll give you this gift. You will be a professional XYZ in a year if you give me your time. Worth it. And then the last thing I think that would be helpful is just trust it. Like, it's going to feel weird. It's going to be off trying to document your life. A lot of people don't feel good about telling good things. Why are we so comfortable talking about negative things? The news says this, whatever. Yeah. Well, actually, I just changed this homeless man's life. We got him a haircut. Actually got him a job. We got him into a house. Wow. Document that.
Talk about it.
Tell the story, right? Everything is a story to be told. And a lot of people will hold it in. Actually, here's a better way of saying it. There's a lot of great people, a lot of great businesses, a lot of great minds living in obscurity because they don't take the time to figure out how to put what they're doing online. A lot of people are missing money. A lot of people are missing influence. A lot of people are missing impact because they're not taking the time to actually document what's in their mind.
Yeah. So good. And it's funny because like I said, we're filming this in November, and right outside our door, the Wealthy Workshop is going on. There's about 100 people and another 250 online. Wow. And I yesterday I was on stage, and I always do Q&A at the end of whatever I talk about. And so one of the questions I received was from an individual who goes, I have 2 pages. One is my brand and my company, and the other one is personal. You keep telling me to be the content, not make the content. Yeah. So are you saying I should merge those together?
1,000%.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Why would they? That's like saying Rohn Starling isn't a brand. That's like saying everything about who I am doesn't add to the brand of which Rohn Starling is. No, I love Spider-Man. That's a part of my brand. Like, I love Jesus. That's a part of my brand. I don't think I wear clothes that don't talk about God. Yeah. Like, it's almost annoying. Yeah. I can't go places. I can't go certain places. I'm like, oh, this is a little embarrassing. Like, it's a part of my brand. So, like, if I got married, that's part of my brand. I don't, no, there's no separation. This is not a separate situation. Who you are is your brand. And every part of what makes you you is actually a content funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if I get married every Wednesday, you see my wife. On God.
That's it.
On Woman Crush Wednesday,
Right?
you're seeing baby girl.
She's
like
there.
it's every Wednesday. And you know what? On Friday, we're going to get a little extra because it was a date night. You're
That's
going to see
right.
something.
That's
you know what
right.
I'm saying? Like, oh, I go to church. Bet. That is a pillar of content. There will be content that points you to God. Okay, I love Spider-Man. Everything Spider-Man, I'm going to just try to do it. You're going to see me doing it.
Yeah.
And like there's levels to that. If you can figure out what those lanes are for you, if you go to the gym, make gym content. Hey man, you know, I'm about 75 pounds overweight, which is crazy to even say.
Mm-hmm.
Be transparent about it. Let's talk about it. Post day 1 and make a video on day 2 and make a video on day 3 and make a video and take a picture on day 17. And on day 237, you'll actually see progress and have the progress daily.
Yeah.
That's content.
Content.
Even if you only doing a workout and you put a sound over it and it's that those motivation pages where it's like ET is talking in the back, you won't get better if you don't get better. 1% every day, whatever he says. I don't know what that brother gonna say, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's prime content.
Yeah.
So your life is the brand, and I'll buy from that.
Yeah.
I'll be a part. You know what is a good example? Sean decided to get healthy, and he turned it into a getting up every day, running, like, and then like get up. It's a rise and grind, and then like just press start.
Yep.
There's so many things that came out of that, and all he decided to do was get healthy.
Get healthy. Yeah.
It's a part of his brand now.
Yeah. It started to build on. And I expressed to her as well, I need to trust you in order to support you in a way.
That's facts.
So if there's no video, you're making no content, nobody knows that you either have achieved something or helped someone achieve something, then it never happened. Right? If there's no photo, no video, it never
Didn't happen.
happened. So
Yeah.
I don't care how many homes you sold. I don't care how many people you helped get in their dream home. I don't care if you're top realtor, real estate agent in the state. It doesn't, if you don't tell me about it, it never happened. I go, you're doing your audience,
A disservice.
everybody that follows you and everybody that will potentially follow you in the future, a disservice by not exposing who you are to them.
Well, when someone follows you, what is the first thing you do?
I go look at their page.
You sure do. And if they're private or if they have one photo, what do you say?
I go, this isn't real.
That's it.
This isn't real.
That's you're
It's not a
fake.
real account.
You're obviously catfishing me, and I don't need to have a conversation with you. Like, that's a very real thing.
Yep.
I never want to be that person. And it doesn't take much. You can go from nothing to something in 30 days.
30 days.
30 days could change your entire life.
Dope.
Of being consistent, of being persistent, of adjusting. But here's a great strategy. Post 5 days this week, right? And see what works and see what doesn't work. The next 7 days, do what works. The next 7 days after that, add some of the things that didn't work. And then the last 7 days, only do what you enjoy. And you'll figure out.
You'll figure out
something
what's
will make a difference in those 30 days.
Yep. We do a challenge in Wealthy Creator once a year. Post for 30 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's to do a couple things. It's one, to get the people that aren't posting at all to post something.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, like, I don't care what you post.
Yep.
Picture of your dog. I don't care.
I gotta know you're real.
Like whatever it is, because what happens is if they don't know what to say to the camera, they're at least exposing something within their life.
Yes.
And that's that breakthrough that I need them
That's
to
their brand.
understand. Yeah, I need you. Like, it's okay now that you've posted the picture of your dog. Take a video while you're walking your dog, right? And you just I'm gonna keep pushing you until you give me more and more of who you are as an individual. Again, going back to the trust factor. I don't trust the individual that just talks about their business either, because that just feels like you're selling me the entire time. But if you talk a little bit about maybe your family, your home life, your interest, whatever those hobbies are that you do, right? Everybody has something like unique about them anyway, right? I just got to know about it. And those things are what's relatable.
Yes.
All right. So, I've dealt with a few luxury real estate agents.
Yep.
And I go, you do understand, like, and I understand the business side of it, right? Your job is to attract people that can buy the $1 million homes. So I understand you promoting and showing that all through and through your content. I also understand, because I know from experience, most of these agents don't even have, really much wealth. It's a finesse to make the image look that way. But I get it. Go ahead. Pull up in your Bentley, pull up in your cars, put on your fancy clothes, carry your fancy bags, do whatever you have to do as the agent to attract that type of attention. I go, but you do understand that more people can relate to the other side than can. So if you want to grow your audience, you still got to give me some of that normal stuff too that you do. Maybe it is just you at the gym.
Yeah.
I can relate to you trying to stay healthy and stay
Or
fit.
even like
way more than the fancy clothes and the bags and the cars.
I can't buy a Louis bag right now.
Can't do it.
I don't want to buy. Actually, do want to buy a Louis bag, but there's there swings both ways.
Yep.
So one side is the reality of it, and there's a lot of people that can't. There's also the 1% that can. There's a 1% out of 8 billion people is still a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, go ahead, live that life. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. If that's the case, really do post pictures of you in your car.
Yeah.
Okay, you really about it. Eat the fancy food and take pictures. That's a part of the lifestyle.
That's your brand.
That's your brand. And there's certain people that can afford that, and shout out to them.
Yeah.
Like, we bless God, and I will continue to work with them in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
So that
but you know when they have the most impact?
What's that?
When they talk about what they've lost and what their failures are.
Oh my gosh.
Because I don't care how much success you have.
I need to know.
You can also relate to that too.
Yes.
All right. It really is just about, and we're saying all this just to make the point of figuring out what your audience can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
That will help you grow extremely fast on whatever platform you're on. The reason why people tap in and really trust Ryan, because it's funny. Sometimes I watch Ryan pitch something, and I'm like, before he's done, he's created a new product. And I'm like, we don't even have that yet. We got to go make that after we leave here.
That's crazy.
Right? One, he trusts the individuals backstage and behind the scenes to get it done. So we will get it done, and it'll be a good product at the end of the day. But watching him do that tells me, oh, they just trust it. And because they trust him, it has nothing to do with the product. Right? And they trust him because, one, you know about his faith. You know about his family. Right? You get to see the newborn when he's there. You get to see, right? You know that he likes to eat at restaurants in Las Vegas, and he's tried all these things that make him relatable to any kind of person.
The big yellow boots.
Yep. He got the Crocs on.
Got the Crocs on. That it makes you touchable.
Yep.
Really, and a lot of it really, we're breaking it down and trying to say it this way. You have to define who your target audience is, and be the person that your target audience needs.
Yep.
And be vulnerable. There's psychologically, you have to see something, I believe, 8 to 10 times before you trust it.
Yeah.
I need to see you 8 to 10 times before I do one thing. That means you need to be communicating more. I need to see you more.
Yeah.
I don't know how legit this is. I ain't really see it like that. But 8, 10 times, dang, this brother consistent.
Yeah.
That's your brain starts to change. And it's like, maybe I should buy this. I've been seeing Fabletics ads for maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never seen Kevin Hart ever wear Fabletics. That doesn't make any sense. And why is he selling it for $2?
Yeah.
I literally been seeing it forever. Last night, I caved.
Oh no.
After seeing it forever, I'm like, bro, these underwear are $3.99.
Yeah. How can you say no?
How can I say no? I went to Lululemon yesterday. Bro, 5-pack of underwear was $119. I was like, look, I don't care how much money I have. I'm not spending $100.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. So it was the timing. It was the consistency, knowing that it's there.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Hart. I saw what I didn't want to see. And I was like, you know what? This brother probably got exactly what I need for the low.
Yep.
And you know what? I will be purchasing those $3 underwear.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, that's just how it is, man. That is marketing. When you're trying to figure it out, that's what it is right there. Saying the right things, doing the right things at the right time.
At the right time.
Feeling the need of the individual that is intaking your content.
Isn't that a business mindset? You go into a meeting with a potential client, and then what are one of the first things you say? What are your pain points? Oh, so what you're saying is this, it seems like I actually have the solution to all of your problems. That's exactly what social media is.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday we had revival night at City Light. City Light, Las Vegas. If anybody's in Vegas, please come through. One of the best churches in the country.
Shout out City Light. Shout out Pastor Jabin. Shout out Pastor Shannon. Everybody, all the things.
All of them. Yes. Pastor Barnett was there.
Yes.
And one of the points that he made, speaking of just church planting and things, find the need and fill it.
Yeah, he did say that.
And I sat there and I was like, I'm going to say that next time I'm on stage. because people need to hear that. And it didn't matter what the context behind it was. You want to figure out how to have impact, find the need, and fill it.
Mm-hmm.
So for those listening, those watching, ask yourself, are you finding the need of the audience that you have currently? Are you filling the need of the audience that you want in the future? Ask those things, because that truly is how you can see real growth and impact.
Can I say curse words?
Oh man, you can say what you want.
Nigga, that was disgusting.
No, it's real. It's real, man. Like I like that's what was going through my mind.
Yeah.
Right in that moment, I was like, yes, that applies to everyone. Everyone. You at a 9-to-5 job right now that you hate. Find a need.
Find a need.
Fill it.
You will actually be blessed because of it. Your boss hates this. You do it. It's not kissing up. It's strategic.
Strategic.
You will get a raise. I'm telling you right now.
I couldn't think of a situation where that didn't apply.
Yeah.
And so it was really good. And Pastor Barnett, he was great. He was amazing. You now have kind of found yourself with having the pulse of what will work on platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You understand client to client, I'll say, what they need to do in order to really have impact and see growth on their platforms. How do you kind of work to get better at that? And what research or do you do to kind of understand what needs to happen in order for a client to excel?
What a phenomenal question.
Thank you.
Here's the secret. I've decided that I'm no longer a social media consumer. I'm a social media contributor. Everything I see is not for consumption. It's actually for regurgitation. Everything.
That's good.
There's no, oh, you stole this idea. No, I didn't. It's all free game. Mm-hmm. I'll give you credit if you want it. I'm just going to do this and filter it through my niche. I feel like for the church, I started this thing where I would take trends I saw on TikTok and filter it through Jesus.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's kind of a good idea. And now every church does it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, anytime you see a niche or anytime you see a trend, anytime you see really anything, utilize it for your advantage. Snoop Dogg just announced today he's giving up smoking. You know how great that is for anyone preaching on a Sunday?
Oh man.
Like you need to get away. Like there's things that are holding you back. Whatever the preacher says. Mm-hmm. Snoop Dogg just gave up smoking. You better put that in your little carousel. Yeah. You need to you know what I'm saying? Utilize what culture is doing. I'm not saying ride the wave. What I'm saying is get ahead of the wave. Mm-hmm. In order to actually change the way culture sees things, we actually have to represent. I will say this for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Shout out TC, represent God to the lost and found for transformation in Christ. That means I actually have to know what's going on and shift it and give it back to God because everything that we see is perverted. So that means it was ours and it was taken. Mm-hmm. I'm taking it back. So my mindset behind that is everything I see, I'm going to make my own version of it. And as long as I do it at the right time, I technically win. Mm-hmm. In the right time, if you really want practical tips, if you're looking on Instagram, or you're looking on TikTok, what do you see consistently? I've seen this one dance on TikTok at least 9 times today. Yeah. Best believe I'm doing this dance. Do the dance. But maybe it's not a dance for you. Maybe it's just a trend or a sound or whatever. If you see it multiple times, this might be something that's coming up. What the algorithm is doing is showing you that this is important. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to do important things. I want people to see what I'm doing as important. Great. That means I should probably hop on this. Go ahead, click it. How many sounds does it have? 1,000? Okay. Maybe make the video and don't post it yet. Yeah. Does it have 3,000? It might be time to post it. 5? Definitely time to get on that. 8? You should have did it last week. Already. Yeah. 10? Okay. If you didn't do it, you're going to be late to the trend, but you'll probably still make it. So if you can get between 2 and 8 on a sound, do it. Get ahead of it. And also because we're creatives, innovate. Do it better than the person that you saw. If you don't get in there and practice it and rehearse it and get those dance moves right or get that transition correct, you're already ahead of the game. This is your time to outshine them. If you can get on the trend and outshine, that just means that God made you excellent, and so it's just gonna work. There's that aspect of it and just following trends, but then also realizing that being consistent wins the game. I had a call with Meta the other day, and they just said if you post 3 to 5 times a week, you should be okay. Why is Meta what? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll post 3 to 5 times a week. I'll just be consistent. Just get on stories every day. It gets people to consistently see what it is that you're doing. Great. Even if I say nothing, I'm saying something.
Yeah.
So those 3 things really, I think, could completely change anyone's social media. Just showing up.
Yeah. When it comes to the trends, that's one of the biggest mistakes most new creators make is that they don't do relevant topics.
Oh my gosh.
Or relevant content.
Oh my gosh. They'll like someone sent me, they're like, we got to do this. I was like, honey boo, this sound is from last year.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Not doing that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, and I see it all the time. Right. And I tell people there's a few weeks, and you kind of touched on it too. There's a few ways to really do it, like really with less, like minimal effort.
Yes.
Right. You can take irrelevant content, like you said, and you can make it for God's house. Right. Because it is perverted. I'm 1000% with you.
Yes.
Any creator can figure out what that relevant topic is. And this is how I teach them to do research. All of the students that are in Wealthy Creator, I go look and see what's trending. Pick 10 things to talk about from that. Then take that content and figure out how it makes most sense to your business. And I always provide the example of when we do this, when Ryan Pineda decides to do this, right? Like he'll go, and we know that there's a huge audience for watch content, right? And so he's got his watch on, and we'll make this piece about him selling his AP, flipping it, right? I bought this AP for this much, and now I'm selling it for this much, right? But the point of it is not to flex the AP, right? Because his audience doesn't necessarily care about the flex. Most of them aren't entrepreneurs.
So they care about the flip.
They care about the flip. So rather than us talking about, the money that he spent on his new Porsche, we talk about how when he bought that Porsche at that time of year, this tax write-off then begins to happen.
That's so
the weight of the
smart.
car gets to happen. It becomes
so smart.
Yeah, it's a tax write-off. The watch.
I care about the flip.
The moment that he made the video and highlighted who he bought it from, the company that he bought it from, shout out to Happy Jewelers, it then became an asset, right? Because now I can write it off. It's marketing. It's a part of, right? When I go to a restaurant and it's no different, right? Like, and so that's the part that the audience cared about. So the video didn't do well because we put that video out 3-4 times and it did millions of views, all 4, right? It's not the fact that we're talking about the watch that made it do well. It's because we knew what his audience wanted. And so anybody that's trying to figure out what to talk about, there's endless amounts of content happening. The news runs the same thing over and over again all day. The radio plays the same stuff over and over again all day. They are not out of business, right? So you have endless amount of stuff to talk about. You can talk about it more than once. You talking about the trend stuff, go do the trend. Figure out how it makes most sense to your business.
Yes.
Right. And that's the type of content that kind of really pushes people forward, and minimal effort on making that.
At all.
Just recently, he did a video about, and kind of like making fun of people that wait in line to get gas at Costco.
Yeah.
He's like, so you're sitting there for this amount of time for 20 cents less on this gas. You're not saving anything because with that time, you could have been making more money, right? That's the pretext and kind of context of the video.
Though.
You should see how many Costco lovers there are. Like they
didn't attacked him.
Oh, it was great. I was loving the comments. I'm going through those comments like, this is amazing. Like
I would like them.
Like people missing the point of the business. And then you had the business owners and entrepreneurs going at the people talking about, it was amazing, right? And I was like, yeah, we're going to put this out a few more times too. Give it a couple weeks, do it again, right? Because that trend never goes away either.
Because it's your own trend.
It's just relevant. Finding what's relevant and and that's what it is. And that's what that is about. So, we touched on a few things. I got a lot of strategy this podcast. I want to ask you, what do you see in the future as far as the platforms themselves? What will be next? We always see something kind of transition into something new, right? I'm old enough to be, have a MySpace page, right? Or Tag. People probably don't even remember Tag, right? I was on Facebook when it was just college students, right? So like I'm 35 years old. I remember that. Like I remember us like using other people's emails to get on these things. And then I've watched these go, platform to platform, right? Vine become TikTok.
I don't think Instagram's going anywhere.
Instagram stays. I think Instagram and YouTube are never going to. I think
because Instagram has created a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if they change the platform and we all hate it, it's too many people.
Yeah.
TikTok is infinitely more powerful than Instagram. but the world is against them.
Right.
YouTube is on the up, but I'm a little worried because I'm like, where are they getting this money from? And is it going to run out?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Here's a gem that no one really knows about. Facebook. Facebook might make a comeback because you can make as much, if not more money on Facebook as you could on YouTube.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know that. So I don't think there's going to be another app that is going to compete with them. I think what's going to happen is one of them is going to come back on the up. And because of it, it's going to perpetuate the other ones. So like, this is the golden era. Your whole life could change in the next 3 years if you just triple down on any one of those platforms.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, get it. Long form content, get into it. Break it down into short form content. Go ahead and bust it down on Instagram. Be personable. Talk about your life on TikTok and post all of it on Facebook just in case, because you have no idea. And the only one that actually pays you is YouTube and Facebook.
Right.
The other ones are just there.
Yeah.
But for some reason we care about those. But like the only ones that really pay you is YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm missing because I have not been on any of those platforms.
Yeah. Well, they're going to see you soon. Tell everybody where they can find you and, all of your pages and handles.
Yeah. So Rohn Starling is where you can find me. The only thing is I spell my name a little funky. ROHN STARLING. Someone found my number the other day on the interwebs. And I was like, I'm probably going to change my number.
It's that time.
They were like, yeah, I was looking for you. I've been paying attention to you for a long time. I didn't know how I can get in contact with you. So I just found your number and called you. What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I still answered though, but still,
yeah,
we like crazy. Yeah. But yeah.
Awesome, dude. Awesome, dude. Make sure you all follow him. Pay close attention, man, because Ron's going to be doing big things, man. He's entering into a new season, but this season is going to be his greatest season. I affirm everything that you want and expect for the next 7 years.
Thank you, man.
10 years, man. And I really appreciate you coming through. All right. All right. It's been another episode of Wealthy Creator. I'm your host, Justin Berry. I really appreciate you all. I'll see you on the next one.